Good evening, tribe. We are back with a special episode. Primarily on Mo Salah, and the whole community has been waiting for how Egypt is going to fare in tonight's game against Ivory Coast, and how further Egypt goes on into AFCON, which will kind of give us an idea of how managers are going to take a decision on whether to get Salah in the teams or not. Karan, how is it going?
Hi, happy to be here. I feel every time I'm on the podcast, there's a long international break again this time. I think we have almost 2 weeks before the next game starts.
How's the season been so far for you?
I think it's been a bad month. December distractions haven't really been up on top of my team as much as I should be. But last week was good. Got a big green arrow after a while. Luka Dean and KDB to thank for that. So hopefully things can head up from here on.
So what we're going to discuss today is, like I said, about Mo Salah. What we quickly going to do is we're going to start looking at his, whether it's going to be easier for the FPL managers to get him in straight away. The gaming 24 starts in another, I think, 10-12 days time. AFCON is going to end 2-3 days before the game week 24 starts. We're going to go through the different assets in absence of Salah, who have performed or who haven't performed, and whether people are going to stick with those assets. I'm primarily hinting towards the premium assets. And we're going to take a deep dive into how they have fared, how Liverpool has fared in absence of Salah. And we're going to kind of compare different premium assets going forward.
Let's straight away start with the stats of different players while Salah has been away at AFCON. And as we all know that he left after game week 21. Seen 2 game weeks happened when he's been away. And these are the players done well in the last couple of game weeks. What do you make out of this, Karan?
Yeah, I think Fernandes is a bit of a surprise. I mean, there's no doubting his quality, but he's been really quiet. United have just been on again, off the boil. But he's had a really good couple of weeks, 26 points, had a pretty decent game against West Ham as well. But I think that's a surprise. Ziyech, again, hit and miss. These are very hot and cold players that seem to have had a really good run. Harrison also a bit of an anomaly. Just a hat-trick, I think his first ever. So I guess I would say most of these are surprises. You've not really seen the likes of Ronaldo, Son, Kane. Some of the other heavy hitters, even Diego Jota is not on this list. So I think, it's quite surprising to see many of the names on this list.
Names like Harrison, Fabinho, Tony, and obviously Norwich players. Seeing them in on the list is kind of gives you an idea how game week 22 and 23 went for the community. Fabinho obviously took the penalty in the last game, so he was against the game against
Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace, and the game was pretty close, and it was the most obnoxious penalty call I've ever seen. And he stepped forward and he scored the goal. So I think so the names are pretty weird here. You don't see them often, but yes, seeing names like Fernandes and KDB, and we're gonna delve more into KDB going forward. So these are a couple of names which makes the whole discussion about Salah interesting, because these are the premium assets which people have gotten. Going forward, also now we're going to look at how Liverpool fared in Salah's absence. As we saw in the first table, Robertson was right up there. He has had a very, very cold start. 1 assist in the first 14 game weeks, if I'm not wrong. Scored or clicked 6 or 7 assists in the last 7 or 8 game weeks. We're going to look at him as well in detail in going forward. Fabinho, VVD had a goal against Crystal Palace, lost the clean sheet. And, but still here he kind of scored 14 points. Oxlade-Chamberlain, a couple of goals scored by him as well. And Trent and Jota. Jota, to be honest, was, I think, out of these 8 points, there was just 1 assist. From a Liverpool fan's perspective, I was not expecting Liverpool to score 6 goals in these 2 games. I thought they will kind of have they will hit some kind of an obstacle, but it was quite a fluent game, both games. Continuing with Salah's season, we're going to do what we've done here is we have done a breakdown of his game week wise scores. Obviously everybody knows he's having one terrific kind of a season, different what he has had. This is the 6th, I think this is the 5th season, Liverpool, and He's never had such a great start. Once you see this table, and obviously there's game week 19 missing in this because the game against Leeds was called off. His first half was filled with double digits. His second half, there's just only one double digit. I'm not playing as a devil's advocate. I'm trying to kind of create a point here. If he really did slow down in the last 6 game weeks before AFCON. Do you think is that the case?
No, I think still in terms of consistency, there's been no one like him. The word perma captain has been going around this season after quite a while. I think not since the days of Ronaldo of past, Lampard of past, did you have like a perma captain like you have now. Even the last performances, I mean, I guess you're sort of spoiled with him. 8 points a game is still pretty good. He's got from game week 15 onwards, 6, 8, 8. So these are quite healthy scores, and as a captain, I would take that. But of course, compared to the first half where you have 17 pointers, a 24 pointer, it does look like a drop off. But I still think there is no player that sort of matched his consistency and point scoring even during that run.
If you were to kind of take a microscope and see what really happened in the last 6 game weeks. And the opposition, Liverpool played. Wolves, we all know how dogged they are in the defense. And I think this 1-0 win was, if I'm not mistaken, the goal was scored in the 80th or 82nd minute. Aston Villa at Anfield, 1-0 again. Steven Gerrard, got Aston Villa home. I think this goal was scored in the 65th or 66th minute. Newcastle 3-1. And then, the next 3 games, obviously, game week 19 didn't happen. So the next 3 games were all away games. And then obviously the shocking result, which I think is the key reason why, the title race now looks a little lopsided, is because of the loss to Leicester.
Yeah, definitely.
As well.
They were in pretty poor form. I think everyone did. 3-0, 4-0. That game was they were definitely taking.
So still coming out of 32 points, 32 or 31 points out of 6 games with 5 points per match. Still in any of the season, from any standard is still consistent. Form he was. I think form was very much there. I think the reason we are also talking about this is because he missed a penalty in game week 20. Maybe that's on everybody's mind.
I think the problem with Salah, or not the problem, but the thing to consider with him is his effective ownership is so high. So in any league, 99% of your competitors are going to have him, and almost all are going to captain him. So if it's that 1 week that you don't captain him, and I know a lot of people who didn't captain him, for example, in game week 9, when he had that 24-point explosion, you're taking a significant red arrow. So you almost have to captain him because everyone else is going to. And I think it would take a brave person not to captain him against Leicester.
No, absolutely.
That's what makes it a little bit more tricky.
There's a school of thought that, it's become so boring of making him the captain all the time. But hey, at the end of the day, yes, there are a few managers who do play, who are looking for the upside here and there, and would like to go differential all the time. But that's how it's everybody's philosophy of playing fantasy. So nobody's still stopping anybody from making him the captain all the time. KDB has now come as an option as well.
That's true, and that's what makes this part of the season more interesting now. Because if you're behind, there's no point just captaining Salah again. You need to think differently and out of the box. So this last part of the season is always quite interesting because you can't stick to the template anymore.
And especially this season when there have been so many postponements. I think around 18 games are still to be rescheduled. There will be a lot of mini double game weeks as well. So this season, yes, people have really got hurt because of matches getting postponed or their game week score has been low. But those matches are going to be played, so it's not that they've totally been taken away from the schedule. So I think this will be a true test for good managers now going forward. A list of players who did well from game week 15 to game week 21. These are the last 6 game weeks of Salah before he went to AFCON. Obviously, this table has been topped by Jared Bowen, and I think this was the time where I just checked on their the FDR also for the fixtures. I think City's FDR was number 1, West Ham was 2, and I think Chelsea and United were 3 and 4. Though we still do not see any United asset here, but yes, you can see the goal involvements of all other players. KDB started coming back into form. He came back from injury from game week 16, 17 onwards, and so on. Salah was obviously 19th ranked in this period. How many assets did you have out of these for this stretch of game weeks?
Yeah, I think Bowen is one that everyone had. I had Bowen. Son in and out. I think a lot of people had him when Salah left. In fact, I think I switched from Salah to Son, but then again, he got injured as well. And I actually just got KDB in last week. So not many
Okay.
from this list, to be honest, which can explain why
Right.
I have a red arrow over December, because I think I missed the boat. I missed the boat on a lot
Right.
of these players. I think Edward was a good one. If people had him, he was a good differential. Scored maybe 4 or 5 goals over this period. So
Okay, if we're gonna look at the title race now, these are the fixtures for both the teams. Going forward, City, I think, along with Chelsea, are the only two teams which are right on track in terms of the matches. So they don't have any postponements. So they're gonna just keep playing one match per game week. 6 points difference. Where do you see it going? Do you think it's over, or no? Just to let our view before you answer, just to let our viewers know as well and listeners that the reason we also are getting this title race discussion into picture is how soon would Klopp want to get Salah into the team. So let's say if he like arrives in Liverpool, maybe let's say 24 hours before the game, whether he's going to straight away get him into the game against Leicester, which is the game week 24. Leicester is not an easy game. We're not sure about how Mane is going to recuperate after his head injury yesterday. So this is the reason why we are getting the discussion about title race. Yeah, Karan.
Yeah, from a title race point of view, I think it's going to be tough to catch City. They seem to be may run away with it, but Liverpool will keep it close. But from an FPL perspective, I think last week was quite interesting to see. I have a feeling that City are going to grind out a lot more results than they were earlier. It was a tough game against Southampton. They sort of came back 1-1. They could have won it 2-1. I feel they're going to be a couple of matches where they're going to be happy with 1-0. At the end of the day, Guardiola wants to win. He doesn't play fantasy. We all know that from Pep Roulette from the past. So the results are going to be the most important thing. I think we're going to see them settle for 1-0. The 60th minute, not really go for it, not really go for those 4-0 wins. That's just the feeling you got last week, and Southampton did make it tough for them. Liverpool, on the other hand, against Palace, although they were a little bit erratic in the back, they still were really free-flowing going forward. And they could have conceded a lot more, but they could have scored a lot more as well. So I feel from a fantasy point of view, Liverpool have nothing to lose. They're going to go for it. They have pretty good fixtures coming up. The team is going to be back together. They have no real major injuries. And that's the style of football like Klopp likes to play. We could see them winning games a little bit more convincingly. And City will still probably win, but maybe not the 5-0, 6-0 score lines that we saw. And of course, Champions League is going to play a factor. How they rotate, when they rotate, that's something maybe a little early to discuss right now. But juggling all these competitions together is going to be a factor as well.
Good that you brought Champions League in the picture, because Guardiola really wants to win it with City.
Yeah.
And has been falling short of it the last 3-4 years. And I think it starts, the round of 16 is after game week 25. Liverpool has a tough one. Inter Milan. I'm not sure who City is playing.
I don't think it's a tough one, but he can't take any team for granted. They've been knocked out at this stage many times. So let's see what he prioritizes. But that's maybe a discussion to wait for 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, but in this list, I think game week 32 obviously is the game week where these two biggies are going to clash against each other. That if that is a draw, I think that'll be City will take that. And the reason I have marked the next game as well in white is because I don't think Wolves away will also be an easy game for City. But I totally agree with you. They are not going to go all ballistic from minute one like they have been in the first half of the season. They're going to grind it out because they know they're just going to win maybe 6-7 games more to really lift the trophy, and they don't even really want to play till the end of the season. And maybe that's why they can kind of then prioritize Champions League if they scrape through round of 16 and reach the quarterfinals.
No, definitely. And they can play that style of football, right? They can play possession football 1-0 up and just sort of deny the other team the ball. And that's what they do sometimes. Without really going forward, they just keep control of the ball for 20, 30 minutes. So I think we need a few more weeks to see. Brentford and Norwich are good games to sort of get a feeling of that, because they are sort of lower table teams. And let's see how those games go.
Absolutely. Moving on, we're going to now look at the premium assets, contenders. And premium assets, obviously, Salah is the most expensive asset right now, and there are other premium assets in and around his price. So these are the 4 teams primarily which which consists of these premium assets. These are the next 6 game week fixtures. Obviously, we are expecting a couple of double game weeks being announced for 24, 25, or maybe 26 for United, Liverpool. I don't think City has any double game week, or Tottenham. Tottenham might have also. So this is all before any announcements have happened. I think we are expecting some announcement later tonight. This kind of gives us a picture. If people are not going to go with Salah, you can compare the fixtures. What do you make out of it? Any team stands out in terms of fixtures for you among these 4 teams, and then for the next 6 game weeks?
I think it's quite tricky. All really have good fixtures. That's what sort of makes this a little bit difficult. Maybe Tottenham have arguably the worst fixtures, but that's difficult to say. Or Southampton have improved a lot. Wolves are going to be a tough game. Of course, City are going to be a tough game as well. And I think from Liverpool's point of view, you have to factor in the blank. That's a really important thing. At this stage of the season, can you afford a 12.7 million midfielder not playing? But in terms of fixtures, I would say City and United look really good. United have a great run of fixtures coming on, but the problem is, who do you choose? Bruno would be great, but the team has been looking so erratic. Sometimes he plays up front, looks really good. Sometimes he plays a little bit deeper. So the system is still sort of being figured out. There's no doubting his quality, but how he's going to play and how he's going to deliver, I think Bruno would be a risky one. But again, on the flip side, someone that could deliver a huge haul.
Absolutely. To be honest, a lot of people just kind of take it for granted that City fixtures will always be easy because of obviously what City does. And I had done some kind of a homework on Southampton. So their home games have always been at home. They have been very, very dogged in the defense. And I think they've only lost once in this season at home. And they have played all top 6 teams at home. So that result should not come as a surprise for people. But yes, it came because obviously it's Southampton and people expect City to steamroll everybody. You're right. Tottenham looks to be the toughest. Liverpool third, worst out of this because of the blank. United 24, 25, 26, 27 look amazing. You don't know.
You don't know which version of United is going to come on there. They can be really good. They can be really average. So it's just difficult to predict how they're going to play, what system they're going to play.
Or looking at these fixtures, is there a case KDB plus Salah or KDB plus somebody else? Because I think since the time KDB has come back, City have just kind of gone to the next level. Bernardo has been quiet now because obviously KDB is playing very, very advanced.
Yeah, I think if there's room for 2 premium assets, I think it should be KDB and Salah. That would be my pick. I know the popular one is Ronaldo and Salah, or maybe Ronaldo and KDB. That's quite a common combination that we see. And it's not possible to have 3 because of the price. But considering the team's form, fixtures, I think the best 2 off this list would be a double up of KDB and Salah.
The title race is still on, technically.
Definitely.
And Liverpool would like to keep pressure on it. Yes, it looks a little far-fetched, but you never know. Funny things happen.
6 points. 6 points is not such a big difference with so many games to go. So I think neither is going to let off.
We're going to just take a look at the players as a pair. Obviously, KDB versus Bruno. Not too much of a difference in the price, but yes, as we see, as you rightly said, Bruno has this season been because of the presence of Ronaldo. He has not been what he was last season.
I don't know if either are on penalties. I'm not sure who's on penalties for City anymore or United.
I think Ronaldo is still the penalty taker. It's been some time actually. Both of them.
It's been a while, exactly. Right?
Yeah.
But that could swing a decision. I think if if one of these guys Salah is definitely the penalty taker. So I think that's another tick in his box as well.
Yeah.
That if there is a penalty, that he's going to be the one that takes it. These guys, I'm not too sure.
And as you can see, Bruno's minutes have also been a little limited. I think game week 19 he didn't play. Game week 20 he started from the bench, and KDB has been playing very regularly. Out of 630 minutes, he has played 603 minutes. So yeah, I don't think Pep is really gonna let him rest anymore, unless it's game week 26 where the Champions League round of 16 start. We're gonna look at Liverpool defenders now, because Robertson has showed some great form in the last 7 game weeks. And funnily, his only 4.3% owned with 7.1 price. Yes, he's an expensive defender. Robertson, in spite of playing half the time of what Trent has played, the points have been almost same.
Yeah, they're almost equal on points. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Robertson always does this every season. He has these purple patches where he just goes on a run, clean sheets, assists. But I still feel, personally for me, Trent is the better pick of the two. And I don't know if it's worth, maybe if you're using a wild card, it could be worthwhile getting Robertson in right now because he's hot in terms of form. But using a transfer to make a lateral move from Trent to Robertson, I probably feel that transfer could be spent better elsewhere, especially in this whole Salah conundrum that's going on.
If people want to have both of them, then obviously, to be honest, if I were to think of that, having Trent and Robertson, I'm very, very happy to go to a Wolves defender. All of them are below 5. All of them are below 5. I am very happy to take. So I was looking at Southampton's fixtures. So their FDR from game week 26 to 38, number 1, I think. 26 to 38 or 27 to 38, they're number 1. So why not get the likes of Salisu, who are like 4.5 and so on and so forth. It's not that they're never going to play. He had a crazy game against City. Having said that, this will definitely you will have to let go of Jota.
I think it's a bold call though. If someone is looking to use their wild card during that blank and they just want to take a punt for these 2-3 weeks, I think having both of them is it's exciting as well, right? Watching the game when them putting in crosses from all sides, it could be quite a bold move if you're looking to make up ground in your mini league.
The last comparison is obviously from the premium forwards. Yes, Kane's ownership has gone up because he's now has been getting returns 4 out of the last 7. Tottenham have played well in the last 6 to 7 game weeks. I think the game against Leicester was just out of the world. One of the best games, one of the best matches of the game season. But Ronaldo has been hot and cold. Now I think Rangnick has got a proof that yes, I can drop Ronaldo for one-off games out of 1 out of 5 games, and because that thing has worked for him, Bruno has really kind of flourished with Ronaldo sitting on the bench.
And that's the problem. And it's a player who's 12 million plus. He should be a guaranteed captain option. And I don't know if Ronaldo
is not.
Which is not. And at that price, and I was actually just seeing today in the morning, Saint Alain Maximum, the Newcastle forward, is 2 points behind Ronaldo. It's Cristiano Ronaldo's on 86 points, and this guy is Newcastle, a relegation threatened team, is 2 points below him. And he's 6.7 versus 12.5. So it just sort of shows the mediocre season that he's had. And if you're not going to captain him, I don't see it worthwhile putting 12.5 million in him.
People who kind of went to Bruno I think that was some masterclass, masterstroke in terms of getting Bruno, and making him captain. That was superb. I think those managers really deserve the jump that they've got. So for me, Ronaldo is definitely a no. Kane. Tottenham has done extremely well under Conte. Son, I'm actually surprised that they've been more attacking in Son's absence as well. Robertson, Trent, people can think about people who really want to kind of take a big punt, but this is a calculated punt. It's not that you're taking some random guy. You're taking Robertson, who has been clicking numbers, and I think again between KDB and Bruno. Going to be KDB.
Yeah, definitely KDB over Bruno. If I have to choose between Trent and Robertson, I think I would still choose Trent. Kane, Ronaldo is a tricky one. It's difficult to say. Maybe because of fixtures just leaning towards Ronaldo. Kane has done nothing to really, merit spending 12 million on him. You wouldn't captain him either.
There are decent forwards who have come back. Yes, DCL has been back, but he hasn't really scored. But Bamford might be back, and Watkins. Aston Villa has been totally different under Steven Gerrard. So there are options. For me, it's a no for premium strikers. Semi-finals will be held on 2nd February and 3rd February night. and the final is gonna be on Sunday night, which is 6th of February, and the game week 24 starts on the 8th of February, which is a night game again. It starts as a night game. Until unless Egypt is reaching the finals, there's any kind of a danger on Salah missing game week 24.
And I think they play on the 10th of February also, Liverpool. So I think they have two more days before they play. So if they do make it to the final, maybe there may be some risk of him missing it just because of fatigue. He's playing a lot of games in a short period of time. But anything other than that, I think he should be back fit, flown in on a private jet, straight into Liverpool, and wrapped in cotton wool till the Leicester game.
This is from us. Hope all this information really helps you take a call on Salah. Yes, the big factor is how far Egypt goes on in AFCON. But I'm quite sure that even if they reach the final, as you just mentioned, I think Liverpool plays on the 9th or the 10th of Feb. So even if Egypt reaches the final, I think he'll be ready to go against Leicester. You have Salah, or
I don't have him right now. I guess it sort of depends on each person's team structure, how they approach it. I think if you have a heavy hitter, moving to Salah is not that difficult. Tricky one is if you don't have, and you need to maybe use a wild card or take a -4 or -8 to get to Salah, which I think some people will be in that position. Is it worthwhile doing that? Or, like we covered, there are other options. If you can just get to Fernandes, get to KDB, a little bit low in your league, what a differential, that could be more worthwhile. It may not be worthwhile using a wild card just to get Salah in your team. So it really depends on people's team structures. If you can get to Salah in 2 moves with a -4, I think that's something that would make sense.
Well said. All right, you guys have a good break. We still have around 12 days to go, 11 to 12 days to go for our game week to start. Do subscribe to the channel. It's FPL Trybe. And we shall see you guys next week.